So when we talk about being willing to change, you can hold two things as true. You are enough and you get to evolve. This is what we're talking about in change. It is not that you are not enough, you are not worthy. None of that. This is not about your value or worth as a human. The change comes into you deserve more, whether that's more freedom, more health, more deep relationships, more money, like whatever that is, right? You deserve it. You are enough. You get to evolve. This is a gift, whatever that is. So this is not about you're not good enough or you're bad or you need to change or why aren't you skinnier? Why aren't you any of that is not what's happening here. This is a gift of expansion.
Welcome everybody to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited today. We have Mindi and we are going to talk about her 24 karat magic and her 7 keys to success. And if you have not caught our podcast conversation, you need to jump right over. It's here on YouTube. So you can actually click and find on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. But we went into deep into so many cool conversations. So you got to check that out. But today we're going to talk about the 7 keys to success. Mindi, welcome. Why don't you give a little bit about yourself so everyone knows who you are and what all that amazing stuff is that you do?
Thank you. And hello, everyone. I'm Mindi Huebner, subconscious success alchemist and creator of the 24 karat identity framework. I work with high achieving women who have built powerful, amazing businesses and are still holding that weight of pressure, perfectionism, performance behind the scenes. My zone of genius is identity work and really rewiring those patterns underneath the hustle, right? That pattern, that conditioning of hustle, so that success feels aligned, it feels authentic, it feels like actual freedom, which is what we're looking for in the first place.
I love that. And I feel like it's so critical because if you can't work on all of that, you can work so hard in your business, you can do so much, and that success can still feel unattainable and out of reach. And so, this work, what we're going to talk about, is so important to do. And I know at the end, we're going to talk about a little special something you have for all our viewers so that they can jump in with you and to work on some little things they have as well, but we'll get to that. So, why
Okay.
don't we talk about, first of all, actually, I want to ask, where did all this come about? So we have the 24 karat. What made you decide that you wanted to create that, build it, get to it? Give me all the information on that.
How far back are we going? It was a system that I used on myself when I got to a crossroads. I had a very successful career in sales. My division closed literally overnight. And when I realized I wasn't that upset about it, I was like, wow, what's going on subconsciously? Even though I didn't even have the words to put to that yet, I had always been an overproducer. My worth was always tied to achievement. I was a high achiever as a kid, gifted, talented, like all the things. So I can't ever remember a time that I didn't tie all of that together. Productivity meant I was valuable, achievement meant I was worthy, like all those kinds of things. And so when my division closed and I had a moment to breathe, because while I was successful, I was burnout. And it just really wasn't, I didn't even know there was another way, was the wild thing. When I had this moment to breathe, I just did a deep dive in all things personal development, subconscious alignment, habits.
Yeah.
Habits are who how to habit, where do they come from? Why do we do them? Like all the things about why we do what we do, how we operate. And then I realized I was working on an outdated code. I rewrote the code. I started collecting certifications like they were going out of style because I wanted all the tools. I'm a 1-3 Manny Jen, and I need to like go deep and I need to do it all myself and get all the error out of the way so that I can help you get somewhere faster. And so I have this beautiful collection of magic in my magic toolkit that became the 24 karat magic, the 24 karat identity framework after practicing on myself, rewiring subconscious identity, understanding the difference between mindset and identity, all the pieces.
Right. And I know we talk about in the podcast a lot subconscious and like all these other things. I think that's so cool because you obviously nerded out on it, which I love. Like I nerd out on so many things. Like I think that's so cool. Like NLP, I keep telling myself I got to get certified and do that. Like I think that's so cool. Tell us a few of the certifications you have because
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of good ones in there.
I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I love using hypnotherapy. I use it all the time. I even use hypnotic language in all my guided meditations that I make. So, clinical hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner. I am a certified Reiki level 2. I'm certified in something called Rapid Rewire, which is releasing emotional charge and identity conflict, identity integration, EFT
Oh
practitioner.
yeah.
So in the podcast, we talked a lot about subconscious and we went a little bit into somatics.
Yes.
Your body, like we deserve both. Like it is to have that harmony, it's both things. So I love tapping as a tool
Yep.
for grounding, like we
Yes.
talked about. I'm also certified in a it's called time techniques. So
Okay.
it's more subconscious work where I take you on your timeline. We release limiting beliefs,
Yep.
limiting decisions, base emotions, belief clearing. I'm certified in belief clearing. Like I have tons of subconscious health coaching, life coaching, success coaching, high performance coaching. Like I just said, you know what? Let me just have it all. Then I
Yeah.
can figure out like what do I want to do with all this? Like who do I want to serve? How do I want to serve them? And that was actually the trick. I started in health coaching and pretty quickly moved to life coaching and then it was health and life. And then I was like, oh, you know what's happening here? You know what the root of all of this is?
Yes.
Identity, mindset. Like all of this is fed from that. So now I coach high achieving women to shed that conditioning. And here's the beauty, like, I'm not a business coach. They have very successful businesses. I coach the human who runs the business, who has the relationships, who's the mom. And that is all based in identity. And so when we get to clear out any blocks there, any limiting beliefs there, it does this exponential, right? The mom clears the block and the business owner clears the block and the, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Such a
it all,
privilege.
yeah, it all kind of gets in there. But I love that you have so many different ones because what that tells me, and if you're watching this and you know some of these, right, it means that she can draw on little elements from
Mm.
different things where you're stuck. And this is like when I help people with what I do, I have so much knowledge, even biohacking. There's so much stuff in there that sometimes I'm like, well, wait, it's not even this, it's a nervous system thing, right? You're in fight and flight, or I know enough about things that I can say, wait a minute. You might feel like it's this, but it's really that. And I think, Mindy, that's the coolest thing about you, that you have so many different elements you can pull from. So when we're talking about the different stuff and we're talking about like, getting out of the hustle, we're talking about, having your subconscious working for you, all sorts of good stuff. You can pull different elements. So when someone's working with you, it's not just here's one thing. You're kind of almost, would you say, customizing everything to them?
I would absolutely say
Okay.
custom. I wouldn't even almost. It is
Okay.
very bespoke when you work one-on-one with me. I have foundational sessions that we do, and then I have laser sessions. And the laser sessions are completely based on you.
Love
Like
it.
what's good? Let's have more of that.
Yeah.
What do we want to release? Let's release that. Like they are absolutely tailored to where you're at, like constantly meeting you where you're at so that you can then have the momentum to move forward.
I love that. And we need that as we're building empires and as we're growing. This is something like we talked about on the podcast a lot, but like if you're stuck in yourself and you're in limiting beliefs, or you're telling, I love this one, like your brain lies to you all the time, like all the time. I tell my kids that, like it hides things it doesn't want to see. It tells you a different story. And if we're telling ourselves the wrong story,
Mm.
it makes everything so hard. And I talked about how, like, for a long time, I saw really successful people as, oh, I don't want to work that hard. Oh, if I made that money, I wouldn't work like that. It was a story I told myself to keep me out of there. And like once I reframed it and I changed all of that, then I was like, oh no, like I can choose this. This is going to be fun. Like this is a different story. So let's get into your 7 keys to success because I want to hear all about these.
Yes. So some of you are going to laugh too, because key number one is know what you want. And while that seems really basic, lots of us know what we don't want.
Yeah.
We don't want to work really, really hard for $1 million. Okay, well, what do we want then, right?
Yeah.
Getting super clear. This is your North Star. This is truly the beginning of the empire. What do you want? And this is where I love to ask the question, why? Well, I love asking the question why in the direction of your hopes, dreams, schemes. I want you to go 7 whys deep
Yeah.
in the this is what I want, knowing what you want. So when you say, I want to build an empire, well, why? Why do I want to build an empire? Well, because I want to leave something for my kids. Well,
Yeah.
why? Why is that important? Well, because, if we go 7 whys deep, we can usually actually get to the real thing that we want. And why that's vital is because our why, it's essential that it's so compelling that we will continue to cast votes towards it, even when, right? We're tired, we're hungry, we've experienced more failure than we want to experience, those types of things. When it is so compelling, even the tiny votes count that we're casting. And that's why we spend the time on the why. Some people want to skip over that. Oh, I want to build an empire. Next step. What's the next step, Mindy? Not good enough. We want to be really clear because your subconscious thinks in pictures and sounds and feelings. And so when you dig deep into the why, you're also tapping into emotion. So you're feeling what it's going to feel like, right? You're seeing what it's going to see like. This is where I love for people to really cast that vision, dive into a swimming pool of what it is that you say you want. So you're walking around in that version of you. You're feeling it internally and externally. You're tasting it, you're smelling it, you're hearing it, all the things.
Why do you think people struggle with that so much? Because I'm going to tell you, like, this is one of my core elements when I'm coaching. It's like, it's what is the purpose? Like, why are you doing all this? Why do you wake up every day? And I get such a like surface level answer. And I'm like, but that can't be it. Like, there's more. And I feel like as women, as entrepreneurs, we do have a drive, we have a purpose, we have something pushing us or we wouldn't do this.
Mm-hmm.
But why are we struggling so much to figure out that why?
Well, sometimes the conditioning is like dim your light. The conditioning is this shouldn't be about you,
Ah, okay.
right? You should be serving someone else. You're a mother, you're a this, you're like all the stories, right? That get all the conditioning that's been put on us in this lifetime, in my beliefs, other lifetimes,
Yes.
right? Like generationally, the stuff that we have carried in. And so that's part of it. Also, sometimes we're afraid of us. If
Mm,
we have to get quiet and get alone with us, then we have to be with us. And what if we don't like us? And
yeah.
what if us gives us answers that we're not sure how to reconcile or comes up with a thing that we never thought of before? And now we are aware of this and we sit in the awareness. And what that does is take us out of our known zone. And that's scary. Like there's fear in that. There's loss. It feels like loss sometimes. And
Okay.
so we'll avoid it.
Yeah.
And it is a disservice to ourselves to not get crystal clear so that you do have a North Star, something that you can continue to move towards,
I
a
love that
version of
answer.
you.
Yeah, like a version of you, because I know a lot of people, like my husband's so funny. He'll just be like, I'm like, don't you want to like get deeper with that? He's like, I don't want to hear what it has to say. Like
Like,
sometimes
see?
we know,
Yeah,
right? Like we
yeah,
know
yeah.
the inner voice. And like, I know people who are afraid that, like, what if my subconscious or what if I realize I really don't want to do this? I'm like, but that's
Oh, that's one
good.
of the keys. We're going to get there. That is one of the keys. We're going to get there. We're going to
Okay,
get
good.
there.
But there's so much. Okay, so we want to ask why. Why do we want to do this? And we want to get 7 layers deep. What's the second one?
Know what you want, take action.
Okay.
So again, both of these feel like no-brainers and vital. They are vital keys to your success. So take action, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual action toward what you want. So sometimes action gets to look like inaction. It gets to
Yeah.
look like stopping doing something,
Yes.
right? So if we want to build an empire and we're scrolling social media 7 hours a day,
Yes.
probably some of the action that we're taking is to lay down that activity and pick up one that's going to move the needle a little bit more.
Yeah.
Mental action that we take, we get to clear the mental clutter. So, how do we get to support ourselves in taking the action? What are we believing about ourselves and taking the action? Mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. Getting in touch, like understanding emotional regulation and having tools to regulate our nervous system. And those are all the actions that we get to take. And sometimes, right, it's just actual action. Rubber meets the road. Get your ass out there and sell, like whatever it is, right? Like action. We also get to do that because when I crack the code on sitting here and holding out my hands and the $1,000,000 falls in, I promise to share it. There's a little more alignment and aligned hustle that comes in. Like we get to take some action. That's part of the reward, right? Like that's part of the earn. And it doesn't have to be a hard earn. It does require movement, though, usually on our part.
And I like that because I feel like we talk about hustle a lot, right? And like sometimes we're hustling just to hustle and we're not
Right.
really moving forward. And I like to take the inaction because I feel like we need to sit and be quiet a little more. Like I have a hard time at a hair appointment sometimes because I'm like, it's taking too long. I'm like, and they're like, it has to process for this long. And I'm like, I really don't care. Like, could we move it along? But we need to learn to calm. We need to learn to sit, right? And we talk about
Yes.
meditation and all the other stuff as well.
So those are more actions that you could take. Because here's the beauty about the why. When we've got our why, when we've got like know what you want, the what, if it's a thing, if it's a dollar amount, if it's a whatever number on the scale, if it's whatever that is, right? Milestone. What we really want is become the human who goes after and achieves the thing. Because now we're building resilience. Now we're building self-confidence. And we get to act as if as well. Because whatever it is that we want, like there are ways of being that we can show up right now. Right? If we want to build an empire, and 1,000,000 just feels low, to be
Yeah.
honest.
No, mine's like 10 million. So don't worry. Like we're talking a lot about 1 million, but I'm like, yeah,
It
I'm
just like
good.
randomly dropped in. I don't know how, but
My,
anyway,
yes.
yeah, on our way to our $10 million
Yes.
empire, we can act as if right now. $10 million worth me. What's she reading? What's she feeding her body? What's her sleep hygiene look like? Like all we can really start being her right now, being that human right now as we take action, because those are some of the actions too, right? Our future self action we get to take right now. So know what you want, take action. I loved that you said like it's hard to sit sometimes in your hair
Yes.
appointment. I have done this work for so long personally that rest is my favorite productivity tool. And I get a massage. I could definitely get them more than I do. And I love the person my who does my massages. I won't become friends with her because I don't want to talk during my appointment. I
No, but
want
that's
silence, but I
right.
want to be her friend so
I
much
know.
because I really like her. And nope, silent appointment because I have learned to sit in that silence and just be present. And wow, was that a lot of work? It was so worth it. Like a
It's
promise, so
so
worth it.
worth it. So like, okay,
Yes.
so I was watching the Netflix documentary on Arnold Schwarzenegger and his
Oh,
story. And it was fascinating because a lot of people probably don't know he was a multimillionaire before he even got into acting. And because he had grown his wealth before that, he could take the roles he wanted. He wasn't desperate. But he put a line in there that just made me think. And he said, I was in the gym for 4 hours because he was a muscle, what is it?
like Mr.
Yeah.
Universe or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, one of
And so he
those.
was building his muscle. So he's like 4 hours a day I was there. He goes, the funny thing is that gave me so much time to think. And it gave me a thought when I heard that because it really resonated. I'm like, really? Like what did he think about? Like, and then so I started finding that I use my phone or other things and I fill my time and I never have a moment to think. But when I give myself moments, like now I'll be like, if I'm vacuuming, I vacuumed my mom's house. I'm staying with my mom, and I vacuumed her whole house for her. And she was like, "Oh, thank you." And I was like, it was actually enjoyable because I just gave myself quiet moments to think. And I think we're missing that a lot. Like we're just in the scroll or the hustle, and we're not having those times. And he said he planned out his whole career and the success he wanted, which we're going to talk about in a minute because I know we're probably going to get there. But like manifesting it, thinking about it, feeling it. You talk about your subconscious. Like I forget what you said. You said it sees it.
Pictures, sounds, feelings. Your
So
subconscious
cool.
thinks in pictures and sounds and feelings. So we want to envision it. We want to feel it. So let's talk about Arnold for a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
Let's talk about when he wanted to be, I think it was Mr. Universe. I don't know.
Something like
Someone
that. Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
us. He was also envisioning himself like lifting the weights, feeling the weights, hearing the clank when you set it down, right?
The muscles
The
growing. You like the,
sweat
yes,
that was
all that.
coming off him, like the
Yeah.
who knows how many eggs he ate at one
Yes.
time, and all that kind of stuff, right? Like all that, that is part of you like truly tapping in and aligning your conscious with your subconscious. Because knowing what you want, that's logical, that's on paper. Now that's why I say dive into a swimming pool of it, because now you're like feeling what it gets to feel like as well. So know what you want,
Yep.
take action. Here's one that most of us are not going to love. Check the data.
Okay.
So we say we want to build a $10 million empire. We take action. We take some inaction, right? We stop
Yep.
scrolling.
Yep.
We take action, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual action. And then we check the data. And the data is just data. And it's going to tell us one of three things. You're doing it. You are taking the action and you are on your way to your $10 million empire. You're doing it. You're doing it. The data might say some things are working, some deserve to be looked at again. Like some things need a tweak here. Or the data might say, where you been? There's no, the data is saying the action is not the needle moving action
Yeah.
that we're doing. That's it. That's all the data says. Whether you're looking at your bank account, whether
Mhm.
you're looking at like time, like what time is it? If you're looking at that data, like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the day, or oh my gosh, it's the end of the month, like it's just data. Yes, it's the end of the month. Like, and now what kind of thing? Not, oh, this is not about your value or worth when we're looking at the data. The data is literally telling us keep going straight, make a right, make a left, get some
Yep.
better directions. Like, that's it. Stop at the gas station and get some better directions. That's all it's telling us. So, know what you want, take action, check the data. The fourth key is vital, be willing to change. So if you have checked the data and the data says, friend, where you been? Be willing to change a belief, a thought, a circumstance, a relationship. And that, yes, that could be a relationship with another human. It could also be a relationship with time, money, health. Like, here we are now. What is your relationship with those things? Are you willing to change that in order to then get what you want to be able to take the action? So being willing to change, if we get to be willing to change, because here we are, right? If we get to be
Yeah.
willing to change and the data says it's not working and you're not willing to change, go back to your why, because it is
Yep.
not compelling enough. You have settled on someone else's goal. You told yourself a story about what was important even though it wasn't. Like something changed for you in that span of knowing what you want, taking action, checking the data, and then being willing to change. And if the data is telling you that everything is going amazing,
Yeah.
still come to, is there any way to optimize? Like,
Yes.
what am I willing to optimize in this? It's not, that doesn't mean like lay down.
No.
It means recognize and celebrate too. Like, this is working. I'm going to lean in. I'm going to dial it up. I'm going to outsource and get a little help to do this because it's working. Like whatever that you get to be willing to change some things, and that all the keys you're going to hear me say for everyone. This is vital. The keys are all essential, and they're some of them are really simple. Like
But it's funny because even though they're simple, they're hard. So it's like for me, like people ask me, so I've been coaching for years before I actually came into the online space, and I've done my podcast and I've done all this stuff. But when I came in the online space, I didn't have a following. I didn't have any of this. In 18 months, I've exploded. And everyone's like, how did you do it? Like, how did you get all these followers and people and you have all these coaching clients and like what did you do? And I go, I'm willing to change. So like I look at what happens, what's going on, and I tweak and I tweak and I tweak. And I'm not joking, like every other week it's like tweaking. Now I don't change a lot, but it's a little bit. And I look at everything. And I think it's about your health. You should do it with everything. But it's like too many people aren't willing to change. Or they say, oh, we'll just give it a little more time. Or I'll keep running the same offer again and again. It's like, because I'm really big on messaging, where we talk about words, the words you use and how you use them. But when you're writing copy, if you're speaking to the wrong people, you're not going to attract the right people. Or if you're too broad, then you're not going to get anybody in. They're not listening. But if you just keep doing the same thing over and over, you're wasting a lot of energy and time with no results. So,
Yes.
so I'm really like, it's funny because you say they're simple, but they're really hard at the same time.
They can be, yes. And so the other thing that I heard you say in that, like being willing to change, this is not about changing your core values either.
Mm-mm.
That if you get to that and it feels like you have to change a core value, then please go back to your why, go back to your North Star, because there is misalignment there. And you're going to find, so we're going to talk through all 7 keys. Every time it's not going to be a this key, then this key, then this key. What's going to happen is you're going to know what you want. So you're going to take some action. You're going to check the data, and then you're going to take some more action. Then you're going to check the data, and then you're going to hop down to, so now we said, know what you want, take
Yep.
action, check the data,
Yep.
be willing to change. Excellence is the next key.
Yeah.
I call it joy and ease.
Okay.
So my version of excellence, my personal best, has to have joy and ease in it. Like this is a non-negotiable. So we've spent quite a while together now.
Yeah.
Do you believe that about me? Do you think that I want that, right? I want joy and ease in things. I do. Does that mean everything is a party and everything is easy? Of course not. However, my RAS, my reticular activating system, bringing me what I anticipate and expect, I have trained it that we anticipate and expect joy and ease. So we are constantly scanning for where is the joy and where is the ease in this. Tech is not my thing. Like back end,
Yep.
my customer management system, all of the things, right? I just bang my head sometimes and still, where is the joy and ease in this? Well, sometimes the joy and ease is in hiring somebody else to do it. I'm just going to be honest, right?
Yep.
And sometimes it's in being done with the project. And sometimes it's in the reward that I give myself of the sparkling water after I finish. Like joy and ease is whatever joy and ease is for you, right?
Yeah.
This is your personal best. This is your level of excellence. And in order for me to show up at my level of excellence, I need joy and ease. I require joy and ease to be somewhere in the party. And so you get to decide. I'm going to encourage you to choose joy and ease. Like, how could you bring that in? Because is it worth having if we can't have some joy and some ease? Like, whatever it is that we've said we wanted. Like, here's what excellence is not. It is not comparison.
Yeah.
It is not perfection. We can be inspired by someone else. That's very different than comparison. If you are like friends, I'm completely inspired by Christina, like all the things that she's talking about, all this empire that she's building, right? And here's the truth. We have a lot of the same qualities.
Yes.
So guess what? I get to be inspired and dive in, right? I get to be inspired and say, okay, what do I already have that she has? And how can I turn up the volume? And what do I need to learn, right? What will serve me in learning in order to then, right, also serve as an inspiration to someone? So that when you're thinking excellence, if perfection or comparison is coming in, ditch that for yourself right now. There's no such thing.
No, it hurts you so much. For so long, I love my parents. They did the best job they can. I have 3 other siblings, My sister's 18 months older than me. She has legs that go to the moon. She's super skinny. She was a model. She looks like a model. And it was always like, why can't you be skinnier? Why can't you be smarter? Why can't And it was never a bad thing. It was like they were trying to drive me to be
Hmm.
better. That's what they knew. And for me, it just put so much self-doubt. And so when I would see other women, I would be like, oh, why are they like that? Oh, and I was always comparing like, oh, she's skinnier, oh, she's better, oh, whatever. And it took me a long time to realize that that doesn't help me. It doesn't
Mm-mm.
do anything for me. Instead, I'm like, you go, girl. Like, look at you. You're amazing. Like I'm happy. Like you have something great. And then I'll be like, so what's your secret? Like, tell me what it
Yeah,
is, you know? Like, why not? I think this
exactly.
is what so much of us are missing. And as women, I don't know why it's like this. I don't know if it's a genetic thing, if it's what we're taught in our, like, as women in the culture, but why do we have to compare? Why do we
Ugh.
have to be the better mom, the better this, the better that? Why do I have to be secretive about what I'm building, what I'm doing, how I do it? Like, I share everything with everybody. Like, literally, ask me, I'll tell you it. Like, I don't care. Because if you're more empowered and you grow and you do better, you learn something, I'll learn from you. It always
Yeah.
comes back. But I
It's
feel
a
like
beautiful ripple too.
it
Like it's a
is.
ripple effect, right? It can't
Yeah.
help but then affect everyone else, impact everyone else in such a
Yes.
great way.
Yes. And I think as women, we need to just really be. I love that joy and ease. I've never heard that before. I actually really love that because for me, I don't look, I'm going to start looking at more joy. I'm going to tell you that because my sister is very bubbly and I'm bubbly too, but I'm so busy all the time that like I'm happy, I enjoy, but my kids are like, you got to do more stuff than work and have kids, mom. Like, but I'm like, I love my life. And finding that joy, I think that's the
Mhm.
coolest thing to like just keep in the back of your mind of how can I see joy in everything I do? The way I look at it is like, how can I find effortless? Like, how can I make everything I do more effortless so I have more time to enjoy, right? Like, have time to go do stuff. But I'm going to start doing my joy and ease. I like that one a lot. So I love that.
Amazing.
What's the
Amazing.
next one?
Next key is gratitude. The
Okay.
sixth key is gratitude. And this is a foundation of gratitude. So it could be a really big gratitude practice. It could be a thank you for this meal. You get to decide. I am inviting you to now also, we're bringing the unconscious conscious, right?
Yep.
Now your Raz is going to show you more ways to be grateful, more ways to practice gratitude because we're talking about it. And I would be remiss if I left out, we're not talking about being grateful for bad stuff. Like we're not like, oh, or I'm also gonna invite everyone to get real clear on this too. Well, like I should be grateful at least that didn't happen to me. We're
Oh,
not
yeah.
doing that either. Like I'm gonna invite you to let go of that if that is something that has been happening too. This is about we talked about it
Yeah.
earlier. When I get up in the morning, I go downstairs into the kitchen, I get a big glass of water and I can see out my kitchen window. And sometimes I talk to the house as
Yeah.
well. And I'm like, hi, house.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. Like, let's have a great day.
Yeah.
I've got some plants on the counter. I'm like, the sun's coming in. I'm like, oh, sun, I'm so thankful that you're shining. And a cup of coffee in my hand. Like, oh, thank you for this coffee. I love coffee. It have have joy and ease with it. Like make it fun. Be we I have been accused many times of being way too serious. And
Really?
and I am serious. I am deeply serious about a lot of things and I am also serious about being very silly sometimes.
Yeah.
And so the more levity, like the more lightness that we can bring in certain ways because we're doing big work in the world.
Yes.
Sometimes it is heavy.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it is serious. There's a need for seriousness, right? I'm seriously obsessed with helping women. Like this is good. It's a good thing. And we get to have joy and we get to have some fun doing
Yeah.
it too. It doesn't all have to be so serious and buttoned up.
No, and gratitude is something that I have been doing. I started it probably like for 2 to 3 years ago, I would say. A little bit here, a little bit there, and then I started really getting into it. But a lot of people don't know that I almost died 2 years ago. Well, I've almost died many times, but I had surgery and I ruptured and I bled out and lost all my blood. And so I was literally 10 minutes from death. And so I was kind of aware, but I was coming in and out of consciousness because I literally had no blood. And after all of that, they were like, well, you're really lucky. I go, why? They go, because you lost so much blood. We can only give you a certain amount of blood at a certain time, because if we put too much blood at one time, you die. If you react to the blood because it's not your blood, you die. Like it was like you are so lucky because all these things could have happened and you could have died like very easily, but you survived it. And so after that moment in life, I realized I'm like, I need to have more gratitude. I need to take a moment and just be happy and be grateful for all the things I have. Like I'm healthy, right? I'm living. Like I have my children that bring me so much joy. And I think we put this kind of like, I want to say blinders. Like we kind of have blinders on of we want to get to our success. We want to go faster. We want to do more. But are we taking the moment to be grateful? Like you said,
Mm.
it's like having that joy too. It's like finding all of that. And I love that you do like little moments of it. Like, the energy, I feel like the energy is stored everywhere. They talk about energy is never lost, it's always stored or reshaped. So, talking to
Mhm.
the house is great because all that energy throughout the day, the years that you've
Mhm.
been there, is in the house still,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And we can choose the energy we're around, we can choose everything we want to be part of. Let's make it good. Like, make it something wonderful. Why not, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
See? I love it.
All right. So know what you want, take
Yes.
action, check the data, be willing to change, excellence, show up in joy and ease, gratitude, and the seventh key is alignment.
Okay.
So remember, like we know what we want and we're bouncing around and we're taking action and then we're like, oh, gratitude check-in. Like the action, I'm grateful that I'm taking the action. Like look at the results I'm getting, or I'm grateful that the data is telling me I can take different results. Like we're bouncing around on these keys all the time. So alignment, here's where you're growing. Here's where you're gonna like if what you have said you wanted, when you lean into it, it's on a scale of 1 to 10, a 6, 7, or 8. You're in your, okay, so you have your known zone. Your subconscious will keep you in your known zone. It wants to stay where you know how to be. It wants to keep you in love and safety and belonging, even if you don't love it anymore, even if you don't want to belong there anymore. You know how to be this version of you who's pre why. Like before you said this is what I want, you know how to be this version of you.
Okay.
When you say, okay, now I want to shed some of this conditioning and reach a new height, right?
Yeah.
Now we're stretching our known zone. So if it feels like a 6, 7, or 8, keep going. You are on the verge of coming into alignment with this new identity. You are growing, stretching your safety. You're proving to yourself that it's safe to lean into these things. Keep going. This is you coming into alignment. If it's lower than that, make the goal bigger. Like, come on, friend.
So okay, so you're like 6 or 7. So when you're saying like you feel it, do you mean like the weight of it is like a 6 or 7, or
I
is
mean
like
this like the resistance.
okay, the
You like
resistance?
have this resistance to like, oh, like I have to make 5 contacts a day. Like I have to reach out to 5 people a day. Oh, that's like a 6, 7, or 8.
Okay.
If we're at a 9 or a 10,
Yeah.
like if we just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
pause,
Yeah.
step back, go back to knowing what you want, and also check and see what action have you been taking. Like you're out of alignment. Are you out of alignment because you've set someone else's goal? Are you out of alignment, this huge level of resistance, because you have been taking action that is truly against your core beliefs?
Okay.
Like ask yourself to get clear on it. Go back to knowing what you want, because that 9 or a 10, that's, we don't want to operate in 9 or 10. That's survival, that's fight or flight, right? That's the tiger chasing us.
Yep.
And that's not, we want to pop into the parasympathetic, rest and digest. We want joy and ease
Okay.
when as we're leaning into alignment. And so do that check-in for yourself as well. And this is where emotional regulation is going to come in, and nervous system regulation and grounding and all those pieces. When you truly understand your body as well, you'll be able to immediately tap into that resistance. Like, oh, that's a 9 or a 10. What's going on here? Like, what am I thinking? What am I believing? Because maybe there's a limiting belief coming in there
Yes.
about who you get to be. Maybe it's not that your why is off. It's not that your actions are against your core values. It's that all of a sudden you have truly come up against a deep limiting belief or a subconscious identity that wants to keep you safe in a different way of being. And now, guess what? You get to do the work.
I know. Well, let me ask you, because we talked about core beliefs a lot, and I'm not really sure honestly on this one. Can you change your core beliefs? Like we can do work to change all that, right?
Core beliefs, core values.
Yeah.
I would say yes. I mean, as you grow and
Yeah.
as you shed things that, so we haven't talked about, but
Yeah.
self-sabotage, which is
Yes.
self-protection, right? As you shed the need for that self-protection because you see what is true for you and what you get to experience, those things do shift for you,
Okay, they do.
especially core values. Because your core values when you were pre-kids
Yeah.
are
Different.
different now, aren't they?
Well,
Like I'm
it's
gonna guess.
it's funny because I don't think I've ever sat down to think what mine are. And it's funny, I was writing a podcast and I was getting all this stuff and I was thinking about it. And it's like the thought came in about like my core values. And I'm like, I know I have them, but I don't really know what they are. And I don't think I've ever sat down to really list out what are those? What is
Mm-hmm.
important? Like I'll say my children are really important. My businesses are really important, right? My health is really important. I'm assuming those are my core values, but like I never really sat down to be very deep about them. Like I just kind of be, this is what I do because this is what I do. So maybe we could
Right.
talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I mean, you can Google what, core values are. You can talk to your chat and go deep with it and say,
Yeah.
okay, here's what I think, here's what I do in my life, here's how I operate, here's what I'm passionate about. What do you think my core beliefs are? Because maybe you've never articulated them, and it's going to tell you, I know that one of mine is freedom. And it
Mm-hmm.
has been my entire life. I just didn't know.
See?
Like all the times I bucked the system, all the times I got in trouble, all the times I went up against authority, like that is the story of my life. And didn't want to be told what to do and didn't want to have to fit the mold and
Yep.
all of those things. That's because I wanted freedom. I wanted choice. And ultimately we all want choice. Like
Yeah.
we even though we don't want to pick what's for dinner, we all want choice.
But I've never, as you explain that, I'm like, okay, I want freedom too, because I've never, see, again, I've never articulated it. But you were right. Like, I don't want to be told that I have, like, when people are like, you have to sell high ticket this way, and I do it completely different. I'm like, why do you have to do it that way? Like that's my big thing about my coaching is you don't have to do it one way or another. You do it your way, right?
Right.
Find your
Right.
way because I feel like I'm always put in a box. I have to be a certain way. I have to do things a certain way. I don't want to do it like that. Like I
You
don't have
can't.
to do that.
How are you authentically you?
Yes.
You have said several times like that's what your coaching is about. Like do it your
Yeah.
way, do it your way. Well, the whole point of that is you're going to show up at your highest and best when you are operating from self-trust, from your authentic self.
Yeah.
So it is your way.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're going to take pieces,
Yeah.
you're going to look at best practices and go, well, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Right?
Yeah.
And then you're going to put your own spin on, you're going to put your own 24
Yes.
karat on it.
Yes.
Right? Like,
Yes.
exactly.
It all comes
Exactly.
into it. So this has been fantastic. I love this all. There's so much out there and like you have such a great step through it. And again, like I know we said they're kind of like simple when you say it, but they're not. This is stuff I want everyone to really take a minute and like write these down. And I'm gonna put them in the notes below so everyone kind of see them too. But like take the time and go through this. Think about this. Reach out to Mindy and be like, hey, like I need a little help. Like if you're sitting there going, I can't get I can't get seven deep on my whys. Like I don't know how to get that deep. And look, okay, I love chat. I tell people all the time, you can use it. But chat is, how do I explain it? It's as good as you make it
Yeah.
good, right?
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
I tell
Yeah.
people, like, if you can't articulate it and you can't really get to it, this is why coaches are so important because we see things like Mindy, she's going to see all the inner work. She's going to see a lot of things inside. She's going to see the limiting beliefs. She hears it, she recognizes it before you even know you have it.
Yeah.
That is what makes her an expert. When I see things with my clients, like I'm listening already before they even say it. I'm like, wait, let me stop you. You're talking about this. They're like, how did you know? I'm like, because I already knew it, right? Because we know. But if you can't articulate it to chat can't give you the response back.
Yeah.
And that's the hard thing. So like I like chat, like you can put some things into chat, but if you can't get 7 deep or you're at like 3 and you're like, I don't know, like you got to reach out to Mindi and be like, Mindi, I need help. And I know, Mindi, we're going to talk about what you have to offer as well as the cool little like freebie for everybody. But like
Yeah.
reach out, get the help you need, because through these 7 keys to success, through everything we talked about, go jump onto the podcast and listen to our conversation from the podcast. All of this makes such a difference on the success and how you're going to grow in what you do. But you have to find you first. It all starts with us. And if you're not in alignment with yourself, you're not loving yourself. The big one I kind of like circled down was like, if you're not willing to change, like if you can't see the change that you have to make and refinements and the stuff that we need to do, we don't move. And that needle never moves. We spend time. I know people who will tell me they spent 20, 30, 40 years and they have nothing to show for it because they weren't moving a needle. They were just moving. And that's the big problem.
And it's something that you've reminded me of too. So when we talk about being willing to change, you can hold 2 things as true. You are enough and you get to evolve. This is what we're talking about in change. It is not that you are not enough, you are not worthy. None of that. This is not about your value or worth as a human. The change comes into you deserve more, whether that's more freedom, more health, more deep relationships, more money, like whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
You deserve it. You are enough. You get to evolve. This is a gift, whatever that is. So this is not about you're not good enough or you're bad or you need to change or why aren't you skinnier? Why aren't you any of that is not what's happening here.
Yeah.
This is a gift of expansion for you. And that's the reframe there. Like looking at it from the perspective of, oh yeah, I'm amazing. I don't need to do actually anything because I'm great and I get to, so that I can have an impact and I can leave a legacy and I can build an empire.
I love that. All right. Where can our viewers find you?
Come find me on Instagram. I love hanging out on Instagram. And I have a free 15-minute identity alignment check-in call where we will just get right to what identity is actually running the show behind the scenes and talk about, well, how do you get to shift into the identity that helps you achieve what you want? So if you find me on Instagram, Mindi Huebner, and just DM me, identity, I'm going to send you the link and you can hop on a call with me.
Yeah, get on a call with her, guys. Like, this is where it just starts. And it's like, even the smallest little movement makes a difference. So, Mindi, thank you so much for joining me today. I had so much fun with you. Like, this is awesome.
Me too.
We are like sisters and all of this because everything you talk about, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, but I want everyone to see that when you're trying to be a powerful woman and you want to build an empire and you want to build something great with longevity, this is not a hustle game. It is a strategy game. It is really sitting down and first, like we keep talking about this, but making sure we as a person are healthy, in alignment, all of this, because I have spent so much time in my life hustling without being in alignment. And I've wasted, like I keep saying, I wish I could go back 20 years ago with all the stuff I know now. And I would be at my $10 million mark already. Like that would have been faster and better, but I had to take the time. I had to learn it. I had to change it. I had to fix it. This is all about making a better version of us so we can enjoy the life that we're trying to build. If you can't enjoy the life that you're working so hard to build, then what's the point? Like, I just don't understand. So thank you so much for coming on. Everything will be in the notes below for all the stuff and contact her. But thank you again. And thank you everybody for joining us today. We'll see you on the next video right now.